protests right now getting very tense in the downtown Indianapolis area. Now, we've just seen tear gas in the last few minutes. In fact, we had to move our TV crews out of the way to keep them safe. Tonight at 11, our Emily Longnecker is showing us how the rest of tonight went.
Scott, people of all different backgrounds came to the circle today. Many saying what happened in Minneapolis this week isn't a black issue, isn't a white issue, but should be an American issue. The outrage expressed all across the country this week over the killing of George Floyd by a Minneapolis police officer. Arrived at Monument Circle Friday night. That tension spilled over in a brief exchange between close to 100 protesters and IMPD.
That's me. That's my brother. That's my uncle. Those are my friends.
That's who Isaac Panaccio saw when he watched video of police officer Derek Chauvin kneeling on George Floyd's neck as he cried for help. Floyd later died.
To see that video, it was so graphic. After the first 5 minutes, I almost broke down and cried.
Panaccio and the other people gathered brought that anger and grief to Friday's protest. Speaking out against the charges of third-degree murder and manslaughter Chauvin now faces.
That ain't enough. What do you mean manslaughter? You was on your knees on the man's neck until he died. He said he couldn't breathe over and over.
Protesters also called out what they say is a long history of police brutality against black people in this country.
For the cops that are on the force, stand up and speak up and have a voice, because right now the entire institution is tainted, and we're at a point where the outrage, the frustration, I don't know how much more we can take.
We shouldn't have to go through this. When it's enough.
A question these people say they're sick and tired of asking.
We got to do better. All of us.
So that's the situation in Indianapolis. We're going to keep a close eye on what's happening downtown, but we also saw these protests in Bloomington today. A group gathered in downtown Bloomington holding up these signs with George Floyd's name, chanting, "Black Lives Matter." Well, community leaders that we spoke to here in Indianapolis today are calling on protesters to make their voices heard, but do it peacefully.
To be heard, sometimes you have to be seen, and I'm all for it. But I don't think we have to tear up anything to be heard or to be seen.
So much injustice, but I think that we have to be careful not to play into a negative narrative that reinforces certain stereotypes.
Pastor Sullivan says social media is a good channel for protest. As you saw, Radio 1 DJ B. Swift opened up airwaves today, letting his listeners talk about what they were feeling.